Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the recap episode of RuPaul's Drag Race, season 15, episodes 1 and 2, I guess. We're just going to go through kind of the story beats, what happened during the episode, my thoughts and feelings and opinions. And yeah, we'll just have a good old grand old time here. So let's get started. Okay, so we're starting with our entrances, and I gotta say, this section of like entrances was kind of confusing the way it was laid out. Like Ariana coming in first and then Vivacious, like that was a gag and it was fun, but it was also weird as hell. But I mean, like they were really good entrances, and I really I always and forever like one of my favorite parts of a drag race season is them walking in the workroom the first time and the contestants meeting each other. It's always so fun for me to just like watch. So, that was a great section of the episode. I loved whose entrance looks did I love? Sasha's was great for sure. I'm just spitballing off the top of my head the ones I liked. I liked Jax's. I liked Princess Poppy's a lot. Um, who else? Those are like the three that just appeared in my head first. They're obviously other iconic ones and other like good ones like Aura Mayari's you see here, that were shown to us. Oh, Irene's. I loved Irene's as well. We'll get to talking about Irene later. Girl, I love her. I wish she didn't go. Oh, it's so sad. Um, but yeah, this section of the episode was pretty dang entertaining. This season is a really fucking Drag Race, Connecticut, and TikTok. I mean, I feel like we spent half of the thing talking about Connecticut and TikTok. But I mean, uh, Amethyst gave us some good content episode, and so did Lucy. And I know we're going to be hopefully getting some of that relationship storyline with Robin and Amethyst, hopefully, like in the next episode or some future ones. So I'm excited to see that continuing is to get more of our Connecticut queens. Oh, and also Jax. Jax is also from Connecticut, not living there, but technically works out. And we saw a lot of Jax this episode, and Jax is great. So, yeah, great entrances. I've solid. I feel like a solid like entrance section of the episode, but it was kind of like interesting. Kind of weird the way they formatted it. Ariana Grande coming in the Vivacious outfit was gag worthy. Sadly, I got it slightly spoiled for me because I was trying to scroll to the correct point in the video, because I was using a VPN to watch it. Um, because I wasn't able to catch it when it like was airing on TV, but I was able to start watching it at like 9 o'clock. So I was like, I'm just gonna free trial a VPN and start watching it now, um, on WoW Presents Plus, and I accidentally scrolled over the point where I saw it was Ariana in the costume, and so I was like, oh shit. But that it was such a good idea, and I mean, any love for Vivacious and Ornacia is just perfect and needed and is great. And I love it's kind of funny because like obviously she was quoting Vivacious, but she didn't quote her like it was so soft spoken. It made me laugh because it was like I would have like she didn't even pause at the right time. She should have been like a mother has arrived, like more like that. But she was just like Mother has arrived. And it was weird. But I mean, Ariana's a fucking icon, so I was like, yes, give it to me, please. And Vivacious, when she walked in, though, that was a gag for me. I did not expect that. I could tell it wasn't Ariana in the costume, but I was like, is it Vivacious? I don't know if it's actually Vivacious. What is happening here? And then it was Vivacious, and I was like, yes, it's Vivacious. I wasn't super surprised, but I was very happy. It was the exact outcome I wanted when, the second Vivacious technically walked into the workroom. But it was such a good way to start the season and a fun way to introduce the guest judge and, Ariana to the contestants and also to give some love to Vivacious in seasons past. Okay, now let's talk about these mini challenges for a second because these were some great ass mini challenges. I love going back to the classic photo shoots of seasons 1 and 2 because those were just such iconic moments in Drag Race history. Like, literally, just like paying homage to the years past is always so fun to me. And I thought both of the mini challenges went great. And I mean, they do kind of do similar situations like this, like every year. I mean, there are some exceptions. Like they didn't do it with like season 12, I don't think. They didn't do a season like 13. So, I mean, it's a pretty regular thing. Like they do it on UK every season, they do a photo shoot. But getting back to the photo shoots in the US is, always something I very much approve of. They did do it last season, but, again, talking about, going back to seasons 1 and 2 is super fun to me. And honestly, everybody did really good, or they were really funny with either, with their failures or successes that they had. I love this picture of Jax here, just like staring up at the camera. And I don't know who that is above her. Is that Bruno? I really don't know. I cannot tell who it is because of the hat, but it is so, I like it. It's a funny ass picture. And yeah, great times. And did Jax change her outfit for the photo shoot? I just realized that because that's not the look she walked in with, is it? I thought she walked in with something different, or maybe it just looks like different in this lighting. That it might be a lighting situation. I didn't because I thought her entrance look wasn't black. I thought it was like a denim blue color, but I could be wrong. Regardless, great mini challenges, loved it. Okay, now let us talk about this talent show, and I need to spend my time talking about Miss Anitra here, because she fucking murdered this. I mean, I shit you not. I probably watched the video of her performance 100 times at the least, like legit at least 100 times, because it was so fucking good. Oh, and I literally just noticed that those, oh my God, the spikes on her outfit are actually like origami. Those I'm not seeing that wrong, right? Those are literally, it's, oh my, she is such an icon, and I'm so happy that I picked her in my last thing as like being a front runner and doing well in this challenge because I was correct. Um, we'll talk about more of that later once we actually get to that slide. But yeah, Anitra did amazing, and who else did amazing? Marcia, Jax. I was also very partial to Sasha and Poppy's performances. I also thought they did super good in this challenge. I mean, literally, I think everybody did at least decent in this challenge. I mean, I definitely, there have been no performance here was the worst performance that we've seen on a talent show in Drag Race, by any means. Even the people who were in the bottom, I think, very easily they could have been edited a different way and it would have been made funnier to us or, more entertaining. But great talent show overall. And honestly, it didn't feel that long. Like, there were 16 contestants, but it really didn't feel super stretched out. It felt like, honestly, to me, this felt shorter than the All Star 6 talent show. Even though I'm pretty sure the performances were the same length, it felt shorter. I don't know why, but that's the case. So, great talent show. Now, I'm going to talk about the runways really quick. This is not the runways section of the video, but I liked this photo, so we're just using it. I could find a good picture of a good amount of the runways. But the runways this week were pretty solid. Honestly, kind of whatever to me. I mean, there were only a couple of runways that I was like, oh yes. Like Anitra's, I was really liked. Sasha's was super good in my opinion. Spices and Sugars were really great. Those the oh and Mistress was the other one where I was like, oh bitch. Those are the five, at least the first five that come to mind for me. But I don't think anybody did in particularly terrible in this runway. I think it's a pretty average runway overall. And I like doing the Who Are You um with as kind of the first runway category. I think it's just like we have it on like UK and like Down Under basically. Well, we had it in UK every season. I think we had it on Down Under season 1 and definitely other seasons, but my brain is struggling to remember those. I think we had it on France as well. I could be wrong. But honestly, pretty solid runways overall. I mean, I'm interested to see once we get to like actual like more specified categories, like what is gonna happen. Now, I would say the placements for this episode were pretty correct. I would have given Anitra the win based off of what we saw, and I probably would have put Jax and Marcia in the top as well. I am conflicted on the bottom three. I do think the bottom three are the correct bottom three. My question is, where do you order them? That's my main question. Because I feel like there's a merit to choosing any one of them to be low and the other two to be in the bottom two. I think just based off my gut right this instant while I'm thinking about it, I would say that Irene probably should have been low. And I think I would say that because it was the only actual like comedy performance and was actually different, and there were funny moments in there. And like I was engaged for a good portion of it. Like with Lucy's, as soon as I started hearing the vocals, I just wasn't very engaged. And then as soon as we had the baby reveal for Amethysts, that which just happens like 15 seconds in maybe, I was kind of immediately not engaged after that. Whereas there were different points where Irene kind of brought me back in, like the nails picking up the ice kind of brought me back in. I was also just engaged at the beginning because, it was something new, and I was like, okay, I need to see where this goes. So I would say that Irene spent the most time having me like engaged in the actual performance. The times where I was not engaged, I do think Irene was probably worse than Amethyst for me. And I actually probably would say right now that Lucy should have been in the bottom two no matter what. I kind of just am struggling between whether Amethyst or Irene should have been there. And honestly, Aura really didn't do great in this challenge either. Aura was, I think, my fourth from the bottom. But Aura did say on Twitter that they had not damaged is the wrong word, I think, but had injured. Jesus, that's the word I was looking for. Injured their hamstring like a few weeks or something prior to the performance, and so they didn't do as much as they were kind of wanting to do. So that is understandable. And frankly, I'm not even sure that they deserve the bottom at all. I think they were probably solidly my fourth, like from the bottom. But I don't think the bottom, but I'm very sad to see Irene go here because Irene was truly like once we got to the second half of the episode where the contestants met each other, Irene was like my favorite. I was like, oh, Irene's gonna go far, and I really want to see what she does in the season because she's just a shady bitch and I love her. And then at the end of the episode, like 45 minutes later, she's like sashaying away. I'm like, oh, well, shit. I do really hope we get Irene for next season, though. They just bring her back. I would love that. I mean, for me, she's on the same level as like iconic first boots. Like my ranking at this point in time goes Shangela, Miss Vanjie, Irene. Like literally, that's the three. Um, and like I think if you were to make a Mount Rushmore, Irene is immediately being added to that list. And considering that we're 15 seasons in to U.S. Drag Race, and Irene is like on that list, is pretty damn commendable on her part. And also the fact that she was the first boot, and the editors and producers wanted to show so much of her, that she was like that influential of a figure on those first two episodes is really also like that she was able to stand out in a group of 16 contestants is really solid for her. So I love Miss Irene Dubois. I do think she lost that lip sync sadly. And the lip sync, let me talk about the lip sync for a second. Lip sync was fine. I do think Seven Rings is a hard song to lip sync to. Like it's just not, it's pretty mid tempo. So it's really kind of more about like the face like that you serve and like kind of like, you know, what do you do during like the big parts and what do you do during all the different sections and how does it come together? It's almost more of a technical performance than like than really anything else because it's not a ballad, it's not a high tempo, it is very in the middle. So I do think Amethyst did better, but I don't think Irene did bad. I would probably lean like 60% in favor towards Amethyst, 40% towards Irene. But regardless, sadly, Irene did go here, but she is an icon, a legend, and a star. And I guess I'm just glad I didn't put her on my who I think are going to make it far in the last episode. And let's get to that section of this video. Alrighty, so we know next episode is going to be like an acting comedy challenge of some sort. I'm honestly not 100% sure what the format is, but based off of what we know, the four contestants that I think are going to do pretty well the next episode are Princess Poppy, because she did a pretty good job this episode, or this past one, with her performance, which was pretty comedy based. So I would assume that Princess Poppy, in like an acting, trying to be funny environment, would be able to, do pretty well with that. And I also put Marsha there as well for the exact same reasons, and that hers was a pretty comedy based performance, with again the dancing element. So I do think we have seen and it has proven that she can pull off comedy along with Princess Poppy, so that's why she's in the top for this. I put Selena's titties here because we know that she's a camp comedy queen. She's branded herself that way. So I would imagine with like an acting challenge where the kind of the goal is to be funny. And I did just pull up the challenge. It is they're going to create infomercials for a queer afterlife. So it very much gives me like Save a Queen vibes from last season. So that one was, it was acting, but it's also, trying to be funny. I do think Selena would probably do well here, and for the same reasons I put Mistress Isabel Brooks. The only person I carried over from last episode to this one in this top four is kind of situation for who I think will do well, because she was showing us this last episode that she is a shady, funny bitch, and as we know online and on Twitter and everything, she knows how to be very funny. So I would expect these four to do well. And then looking at last episode, I had Mistress Isabel Brooks, Sasha Colby, Jax, and Anitra as my top four. And Anitra ended up winning the challenge, so good for me. Jax was placed high, so good for me as well on that. And then Sasha and Mistress were both safe, so I wasn't entirely wrong about everybody. And I think personally, and it seems like online, Sasha is a lot of people's like number four for the challenge. So I feel like I succeeded with this. I guess I just accidentally counted out Marsha with that. So I'd say I did pretty good. Alrighty, looking at who I think the top four of the season might be, I kept three out of the four the same. I kept Sasha, Anitra, and Lux. Anitra won the first challenge of the season, so that obviously, gives her a boost. And she was kind of my dark horse pick in the last video, but now I feel kind of solidly like, yeah, Anitra is probably going to make it pretty dang far in this competition, along with Sasha, because Sasha is just so multi-talented and it's amazing. And I would be shocked if Sasha were to not make it very far in this competition. I also kept Lux here because Lux did get a pretty dang good amount of screen time in the first episode. So it does kind of seem like they're setting up Lux to kind of stick around for at least a little while. So I just kept Lux here. I did replace Aura with Marsha. And the reason I replaced Aura is because we didn't get a whole lot of Aura. Aura was not the most invisible person on the episode, but was definitely like fourth or fifth from the bottom in terms of just like visible screen time. So I'm slightly worried for Aura's. Like how is going to be in the future for Aura, but I still think she's a sickening ass drag queen and I love her and I've been following her for a long time. So I really hope she does well. And I decided to put Marsha in here because we did get a good amount of Marsha, and she did very well in this first challenge. And I think that, given that we've seen that she can make performances that can deal with comedy and that she can dance and that she's told us that she makes her own outfits, I don't really see what she can't do. So I decided to slot her in there. So that is going to be this video. I cannot wait to see what happens in the next one with the acting challenge and everything. Who's gonna, go home second. So thank you all so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you wish. Again, thank you for watching, and as always, take care. Bye-bye.